welcome back. Here we are, back again in the cover-to-cover studios, I like to say. What I didn't realize is, I kind of realized it, but I didn't realize they were going to release them. We are on YouTube now, so I try to dress up a little more. And I'll try and look at this camera more, but they're releasing these on YouTube a couple of days later. So if you want to watch this entire thing, you can on YouTube. I don't know under what, I have no idea, but they just put cover to cover on this thing behind me, which is just a curtain in front of a wall. I wish if they were going to put these on YouTube, they would do something nicer behind me, but it's a curtain behind a wall where it'll say cover to cover if you choose to watch this on YouTube. So that's where we're at. Welcome back. I hope you all had a good weekend and week and whatever. I was in New York a long time. I got there on last Monday. I did the Howard Stern wrap-up show with Gary Dell'Abate and John Hine, and it was fantastic. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan. Dream come true for me. They were great. I had a blast doing that. Then I went and did a Gotham in New York, it's a great place, Comedy Juice in Gotham, and Chris Millhouse. And thank you guys for always putting me up. You're the best for doing that. And then, of course, I went to Caroline's for the weekend with Heather McDonald. We did the live Juicy Scoop and a weekend of stand-up shows, which was great. And Heather and I went to see Colin Quinn's one-man show down in the Village at the Minetta Lane Theater called Red State, Blue State. I don't know if you people like Colin Quinn. He is, to me, the best there is. I think Colin Quinn is just head and shoulders above. He just is just great. And now he's doing more like one-man show type shows instead of stand-up. And this one is called Red State, Blue State. It is exactly what you think it would be. He's basically kind of taking both sides of this, Trump world we live in. And it's great. He is just the best. And if you're in the neighborhood, it's going to like March something. Go check it out. I got tickets online for like $35 and we were sitting, right front row. It's great. Go get a dinner down there in Minetta Lane. It's a pretty cool area. And it's where my love of Broadway began, at the Minetta Lane Theater. Many, many years ago, as a child, I went to see Three Guys Naked from the Waist Down at the Minetta Lane Theater. I was probably 16 years old. And now let me explain this production. I used to go by myself to Broadway shows because nobody would come with me. I was like this loser and I discovered a thing called TICS, TKTS, which is now huge. But back then it was called Theater Development Fund, and you would be able to get like half price tickets to Broadway shows. And my mother kind of got me involved in it, and I would like mail to go get tickets, and then they would mail me back a ticket. And Three Guys Naked from the Waist Down was basically a musical about three guys trying to get on the Johnny Carson show, the Tonight Show. There were three comedians trying to get on the Johnny Carson show. It was a musical about that. And it's fantastic. I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was probably 15, 16. Scott Bakula, who's now still a pretty big star, he was in it. And these two other guys that don't really, what became of them. But amazing. And so I was back at the Minetta Lane Theater where I went to see that years later to see Colin Quinn. Fantastic. Love New York. Had a great time with Heather. We had a lot of fun. And thank you to all who came out to the Carolines. You were very drunk. A lot of very, very drunk people, which is fine. I can handle it. And I think Heather can too. But, once again, people just say the most awful shit to you. They think they could just come up to you, and I guess they're drunk and they think they're being funny, and they could just tell you you're ugly or whatever right to your face. And it shocks me every time that people just will come right up to you and go, I don't think you're good looking. And I'm like, okay, it's not something you would ever say to a person in a subway or on the street, but yet after a show, people feel, I think they're just drunk and they feel they could just say whatever they want right to your face. So there was a few of those, but I go through it every weekend. I feel like it's more during the Heather McDonald shows because I know I'm kind of like a side act on that. I'm not the main event. And so I guess people feel they could say whatever they want right to my face. Thankfully, my skin is thick. As I've told last week with my story of Are You Lonesome Tonight, my skin has been thickened over the years by things, so I'm all good. You can say whatever you want right to my face, and it won't really affect me. All right, now let's get to, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get to, I guess the big story I watched the Grammys. I know it's now probably it's Thursday, so we're a little past it. But I watched it on Sunday. It was good. I landed like Sunday morning, so I was kind of excited to just sit and watch. And here we get it at 5 p.m. It starts here on the West Coast, so that was cool. And Alicia Keys was kind of a good host. I mean, here's the thing that because of all of us are very offended and scared about anybody saying anything anymore. And I hate saying that because are we really? It's just, some things should be, and I know I say this all the time on the podcast, some things maybe should go away, but because of that, you're going to get a more safe opening monologue, a more safe host, and maybe it's not a bad thing because in the case of the Grammys, do you need the jokes? Do you need, Jimmy Kimmel, who's great, but do you need it? Like, let Alicia Keys, who's a musician, host it and just kind of keep it about the music, which I thought was kind of good. It was all about music. It was all about Alicia Keys being, very talented. She played the two pianos at the same time. She did a bunch of songs. She had a little trouble reading cue cards, but I understand that. Sometimes they're far away and they move quickly, and it's tough. She was probably nervous, but I thought she did a great job. Honestly, I'd love to sit here and shit on the Grammys, but I have to be honest. I thought they were pretty good. They were a little long. Two takeaways for me were this. I think her name is Her. Is it Her? H-H period E period R period. I think I don't know. She must be a big hit.
Must be a pop singer. I'm not familiar with her. Yeah.
Anyway, she performed, and I thought that girl was fantastic. I thought her performance was great. Her or she, I think it's her. And then I thought Brandi Carlile, who I've kind of heard about my whole life, Brandi Carlile, but I didn't really know. I think I was thinking of somebody else, but this girl was amazing. Brandi Carlile got up and just crushed it. And then, of course, there was, Dolly Parton came up with Katy Perry and Casey Musgraves, who I have no idea who that is, but I guess she won Best Album of the Year. And it's country stuff. And hey, country stuff is fine. I get when I'm in Nashville and stuff, I get all caught up in country music. I don't listen to it in my day-to-day life. Not that I have any hate for it, but Casey Musgraves won Best Album and Best whatever. I don't know. She did a couple of performances throughout the night, Dolly Parton and whatever. And then Diana Ross comes up and she does a whole thing. Diana Ross, it's her birthday, I guess, 75th birthday. And I always get a little nervous when they have a big giant gown on and she's 75. She kept saying she's 75. And she attempts to walk downstairs and then back upstairs to this other stage. And I'm like, oh my God, this poor old broad's going to fall on her face. She didn't, thankfully. But then she gets up on the stage and she says, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Twice. Happy birthday to me. Which is, she's celebrating her own birthday at 75. You should be able to do that. You're Diana Ross. You've achieved a lot in life. Go ahead and celebrate. But then I looked it up and her birthday is not till March 25th or something. So those are the kind of balls Diana Ross has. She not only goes on the Grammys, wishes herself a happy birthday twice. Her birthday's not for another 2 months. So it was amazing, but I thought it was pretty good. She was great, and it was. All in all, I thought the Grammys were kind of okay. I was into it. Once they start getting into the boyfriend of the Jenner, I don't know his name. What's the Jenner's boyfriend's name? Or
which Jenner?
The Kylie. He's like a rapper guy, and he got up and sang a song. I have to tell you, maybe I'm just an old man. I totally check out when they go into that. When they start going into, and then of course there was a couple of times where they bring real people on stage. Alicia Keys brought a couple of real people up on stage, and it never award shows stop bringing real people up on stage. We don't need that anymore. We don't watch these award shows to see real people. We see real people every day. Every day we get on the subway, we get in an Uber, we go to Target, we see real people. We know what they look like. They're not interesting. They're not good looking. And I'm myself included. I'm one of them. We watch it to see you gorgeous people in your gowns be fun. We don't need the real people up on stage. We don't need them to come deliver pizzas to you or bring out food to the crowd. We got it. No more of that, please. Secondly, we all don't care about the guy who runs the Grammys or the Oscars, because now we're in award season. Here we are. We're in it. So there's a bunch coming. Now every weekend we're gonna have another one for the Oscars and then blah blah blah. Just cut out, please, the 20 minutes of somebody coming out and talking about the guy who runs the Grammys, and then the Grammy guy comes out himself and he talks about himself. Just please cut it out. Nobody in the world is interested in the guy who runs the Grammy Museum or whatever. This guy went on after it was kind of a pretty good show. This guy comes on and goes on for 10 minutes about the Grammy Awards. Secondly, Alex is texting. It's very distracting to me. What the fuck are you texting?
I was sending a text just to Paul, one of our other engineers here. Sorry about that.
He's texting, and I hear it in my phone.
I just silenced it. I apologize. Good
it's
people.
Okay. It's okay. Anyway, so that was, and then of course Lady Gaga won for her song, and everybody. I said this before on the podcast. You have to get it together when you're going to accept your award. Lady Gaga, of course, when she had been nominated at this point, she's won 15 awards leading up to this, not only in acting and for the song, for everything. So it was a pretty good chance she was going to win again. And she has another breakdown. She just starts bawling the moment her name is called. She gets up and starts to do her acceptance speech, and she's trembling and shaking. Now, here's the thing. You're in the top 5 or 10 people nominated, and you have been for 3 months. They make these nominations a while ago. There's a pretty good chance you're going to win this. So you have to get it together. There was another girl who got up who has been in the business a long, long time and was just trembling and freaking out, and I don't understand it. I really don't. Just get it together, people, please. I know Lady Gaga is always, like I always say, she's always on the edge of a breakdown. And I feel like she was, just another time where she was about to break down. So that was the Grammy. And then there was more clapping. I love award shows because they just let us know that nobody knows how to clap their hands, especially celebrities. Every time we get a meme of somebody who can't clap their hands. And out of this Grammy Awards, it came Lady Gaga she holds one hand perfectly still and claps that one still hand with the other hand instead of moving both hands toward each other, which is so bizarre. And of course, there was the famous one of Nicole Kidman a few years ago, who just kind of, I guess she said she had large rings on, so she just like separated her fingers out really wide and just like a
child.
Yeah, like a child, and just kind of weirdly hit her palms together. And then the greatest one of all time, you should look it up, is Brendan Fraser is reacting to somebody making an acceptance speech. And he just, I don't even know. It's like the first day he was given hands and didn't know what to do with them. And he just starts moving his hands in ways I've never seen two hands really move before. But there's also, so if you're sitting in the audience of an award show and you're a big star, there's an outside chance they're going to pan in on you. So you have to get your clapping down, please get it down. And also, if there's going to be a standing ovation and we all know who we're going to stand for, if they're above 75 years old and they're going to come out, you got to stand up. It's just the way the world works. And even if you don't like who they are or what they mean to you, they've made it in show business, for however long they've made it. It's time to stand up. Sometimes you see the slow stand. Like if Diana Ross comes out, whether you like, I want muscles all over. That's a Diana Ross song I remember. That's when she got like dirty, disco-y era. I want muscles all over your body. I know she's got other big songs, but that's one that sticks in my head. It's the first one that came to mind. Anyway, if Diana Ross walks out, you got to stand up. Just forget the slow stand. A few people start getting up. You got to get up. There was one woman, as Diana Ross was doing her thing, defiantly just sitting down. I don't know if she was like, maybe she had an issue with, I don't stand up. Like I'm saying, like maybe she had a physical issue, But it's just funny to see like a few people still sitting down when these people listen. If Betty White comes out during the Oscars or whoever else, Kirk Douglas, if they wheel that fucking Kirk Douglas out during the Oscars, he's 101 years old, and it's scary. You know, the poor guy had to get in the car. Somebody had to wheel him out to the car, had to drive from Bel Air, wherever he lives, had to go down.
Tired for a month.
Exactly. If this fucking, and they drag him into the arena where it is, and then they drag him out onto the stage. You get the fuck up. Listen, get up for the old people or whoever. If somebody makes a speech, the other thing. These are my tips for if you ever get nominated for anything, Alex. If they ever give out best abortion joke, Alex is a fucking shoo-in, and he will get up there and he's going to make an amazing speech.
I'm just going to tell the joke and never be invited. If one of the
categories is ever best abortion joke and he doesn't win, the world is not right.
It's rigged.
It's rigged. It's rigged. So anyway, the other one is now if you get nominated. Like a couple of months in advance, you get the nomination. We all know who the Oscar nominations are because they came out. So there's a few weeks before the Oscars. Call all of your people, all your agents, your managers, everybody who was involved in the film, all your friends from wherever you came from. Call them all in the next month and say, hey, man, listen, there's an outside chance I might win. I want to thank you for all you've done for me. I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without you. Do it now so you don't get up on stage and just read 75 fucking names. Like we don't want to hear that. We want to hear you make some kind of a heartfelt speech about, hey, it's tough to make it in this business. I'm happy I'm here. What a night. Thank you all for watching my terrible movie. And in 6 months, you probably won't even know who the fuck I am. So let's celebrate tonight. Thank you very much. Good night. Let's do something like that. That's what and then if somebody does that, you stand up once again. There's been a lot of standing lately. Used to be the day where standing ovations was something you really had to earn. I feel these days, now you'd have to stand for everybody.
Give them to them.
If you're a comedian, what you have to do is you just have to turn your phone to the audience and say, yeah, look, packed house, standing ovation. Well, no shit, they're standing because you told them to when you fucking turned the phone around. Anyway, it's one of those things.
Do you do that, or do you see a lot of people do that?
I don't bring my phone on the stage. Like, I perform for the audience. Great. I am there. I don't know. Why would I bring my phone on stage with me?
Chris is an actual professional guy.
Of course I am. I've been doing this shit a long time. Like I'm performing in the room I'm in, and those people who come to see me, all 15 of you, you are going to get the best damn show of your life without my phone anywhere near me.
Do you record your sets on your phone?
No, I know how good I am. I don't need to record it. I fucking handle my shit.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex. Anyway, on to the next story. Sorry about the Grammys. Anyway, that's about not only the Grammys, that's award shows, all of them. And the other thing I just read as I was driving here was now the Oscars have decided. So we're going no host at the Oscars, which, okay, that'll be fine. Because if they're smart enough, they're going to have a host talk about being no host. Which is, they'll have Billy Crystal do it or Will Ferrell. Somebody funny will come out and go, wait a minute, no. And they'll have, if they're smart, this is what they'll do. They'll have 5 guys come out and go, I could probably do it. Or they'll have like people auditioning to be a host. And that might be fun to watch. You know, I think that's going to be a good idea. I think the no host thing might actually kind of work out for the Oscars. In a year where the movies are kind of okay, I don't think there's any giant runaway successful movie except for maybe Black Panther that we all saw this year. The outside of Black Panther, I don't know if you've seen any of them. Probably like I did, but I don't know if like most people have. So you're gonna have to find ways to entertain the crowd outside. But the Oscars and all award shows, they have their built-in audience. It's going to be me, old guy who just likes to watch this shit, you know, because it's fun to make fun of. It's going to be, you know, gay dudes and the people who always watch, and my mother, you know, just like to see people in gowns. And then that's it. They're not getting a new audience. No 21-year-old goes, oh my God, I can't wait to see Viggo Mortensen's, you know, tuxedo. It's just that nobody gives a fuck anymore. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Like, Alex, you're 20. Do you watch the Oscars?
I do not know.
Yeah. Do you care?
No, I think nowadays, if you want to see that person's tux, you just follow them on Instagram.
Thank you, Alex. See exactly what I'm saying. So just go with what works. You're not getting a new audience if even so. So what they've decided to do, the Oscars, is they're going to cut several of the categories that are a little more of the boring categories this year. They've decided during commercial breaks they're going to give out, which I think some of them I understand, but best cinematography, editing, and makeup, and one other one, they are now just doing, which I think is, if you're a film fan, cinematography is a pretty big category.
Yeah, probably the
exactly for those of you who don't know, like cinematography is the entire movie.
Like think Sin City,
right?
Yeah,
or many of the Saving Private Ryan. Like you watch that movie, like, oh my god, this movie looks amazing. That's all cinematography, and for them to be relegated to a commercial break kind of sucks, just because they want to keep some millennials' attention. Who probably isn't paying much attention anyway. They're looking on Instagram while the Oscars are on in the background. So just let the poor cinematographer who's worked his entire career to get to this point, let him have his moment. You don't have to shorten it up for fucking Brittany, who in Ohio, who doesn't give a fuck anyway, who's just texting her tits to her boyfriend. Just stop. Okay, on to the anyway. On to the next thing. Jeff Bezos.
Speaking of three guys with their pants, what was the...
Three guys naked from the waist down.
3 guys naked from...
Yes. Jeff Bezos. This was the story that was all over in New York because the New York Post, when you're in New York City, every newsstand you walk past, the New York Post is lying there, and they're just amazing at their headlines. They're just good at it. Whoever does it over there is just a genius, and they're fun, and it's great. They're famous for these headlines. Anyway, so the Jeff Bezos story is kind of fascinating. I guess there's a dick pic of Jeff Bezos out there, or several, and sexting from him to this Lauren Sanchez, his current girlfriend, and I'll try and explain the story best I can with, okay, there's a guy named Pecker, which already amazing. This guy, Pecker, owns a huge media company that not only runs the National Enquirer, runs a lot of magazines. I think In Touch and Us. A lot of those are all under this, but they're all under this one, I think it's American something Incorporated. Anyway, the guy's name is Pecker, which the New York Post is having a field day with. Pecker's getting things are getting harder for Pecker. I mean, this is every headline now. So they're just having they couldn't have been served up a better name and with a better story. The two worlds have collided. They must be going fucking freaking out over the New York Post.
They've been thinking about
the fact that there's a dick pic and a guy named Pecker involved in this story has just been a field day for the people over at the Post. And it is. It's fun. Let's face it. I mean, who would have thought we'd get? So here's the thing. Bezos, has the girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez. There's dick pics going back and forth, as two people do when they're, courting each other. That's just the world we live in these days. You just start to sext and you start to send dick pics, and that's just the way the world works these days. Anyway, so here's what I gather from this story. The Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos and Amazon, is doing a story on the National Enquirer on how they may have done some shady practices to try and get Donald Trump elected, because this guy Pecker and his company is a huge Trump supporter, and he may have done some stuff to try and get Trump elected, like shitting on Hillary in the National Enquirer. So the Washington Post is doing an expose on that. The guy Pecker calls Bezos and says, hey, listen, you better stop doing this story about the Enquirer, or I'll fucking release a picture of your dick that I have. So Bezos says, goes on to say, and now Bezos comes out in public. I'm being, what's the word when
blackmailed?
Blackmailed, yeah. I'm being, blackmailed by this guy. This Bezos comes out and says it. So the dick pic, I guess that he also admits, there's a dick pics of me to Lauren Sanchez and all that. Now I'm hearing other stories that Bezos is saying that did Donald Trump somehow get involved in this? How do you, this is actually a question I have. How do you get these dick pics and sex and messages off people's phones? I feel like there's a lot of it going around. And unless you actually have the person's phone in your hand, I remember the days of Tommy Lee's and Pamela Anderson's sex tape. It was like, oh, some construction workers stole the videotape from our house. That's how they used to happen. Somebody went into our house and stole our videotape, or however you used to do it back then. That used to be the way. Now I feel like they're just getting these however they're getting them. But the only way I could think is they have your phone. But in the case of Bezos is saying now, maybe Donald Trump used like the FBI tactics to somehow, because they could do it if they wanted to get shit off your phone. They could somehow get stuff off Bezos' phone. Well, who knows if any of this is true. So that is the story. But then I go on this morning to read that Lauren Sanchez, I guess, sent these sexts and dick pics to her friends, and that's how they were out there. So the other thing is, which I always find in these stories, no matter how rich. Now, this is Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world. It's amazing. Like the amount of money is just staggering. It's like hundreds of billions of dollars, which is fucking ridiculous. But he's Amazon, and I mean, Amazon is just, there's no better thing in the world than Amazon. I truly believe that it's actually the downfall of this world. I really do. I truly believe that we are now the dinosaurs, and whatever happened to the dinosaurs, there was one time where the dinosaurs roamed the world. Mm-hmm. We all saw Jurassic Park, and so I guess there was a time where dinosaurs just walked up and down the street. Something happened, and the dinosaurs just fucking went away. Whether you choose it to be a meteor or whatever the fuck it was, the dinosaurs were gone. But for millions of years, they fucking roamed the earth. Same as us, same as human beings. Something is going to happen where one day they're going to find bones of us and go, hey, look at these people one day ruled the world. And it's Amazon.com. That is what's happening. Because what has happened was we're not going to leave. Nobody has to leave the house anymore. And within seconds, we can all order whatever the fuck we want. And whatever we want will be at your house. And it's staggering how quickly it gets there.
Have you seen the buttons they have?
Everything. Yeah, like a button to order like Tide or something.
Yeah, you just press it in your house, and
even that,
terrifying.
Even those are old. That was something they did a few years ago. Like even I think that's gone.
Are we not doing that anymore?
It's even faster than that. It's crazy. So here's the thing. This is going to take me back to my week in New York, which I was talking to a bunch of people after shows and stuff, and it's all happening. All of what I said was going to happen is happening. So now nobody leaves the house. Nobody has to go to the mall. Nobody has to go to the grocery store. Nobody has to go to anywhere. Forget it. So they're all just going to close up. But you need them. You need them all. You need them all just to look at other people and go, oh, look at that weird guy. Oh, look at that. Or people watch or whatever. You need to talk to the girl behind the cashier. You just need it. You have to. Trust me. You can't just stay in the house and order Tide. You have to go get Tide. I know it's difficult to put the kids in the car and go to the supermarket and get Tide. But when you're at the supermarket, you're going to see another person. And that person's going to see you, and somehow pheromones or whatever are going to be triggered, and everyone's going to go, oh, look, there are other people in the world like me who come out and buy Tide. And it just makes the place better. When we're all staying inside, we start to go fucking insane. And that's what's happening. That's why everybody is hating everybody, because we're all on Twitter going, this guy said that. This guy put on blackface. I can't believe it. And get the fuck out of your house. Go, please, leave your house. Go to dinner at fucking the place with the blooming onion. The Australian steak place?
Outback.
Outback. Thank you, Alex.
You gotta get a blooming onion.
Yes, go to Outback and enjoy your life for at least once a week. I'm not saying you have to leave, because if you stay inside, this is going to be the end. If you stay inside and scroll, Bumble, and whatever. So anyway, back to Jeff Bezos. Congratulations on being the richest man in the world. You eventually are going to ruin the world. But listen, I order from Amazon too, but I still try to get out of the house from time to time. Okay, that's the Bezos story. And the other thing is, everybody has shitty friends. Even if you're Jeff Bezos' level, you have shitty friends. I just read just before we went on air that they're saying that the leak was it was Lauren Sanchez's brother. So everybody has a shitty. Anytime any of these things go down, it turns out to be a shitty relative. Isn't it funny how no matter how successful you get in life, we all have one shitty relative who will sell you out in a fucking second? Every one of these stories has come down to a shitty relative. So the last thing I read before we went to air was it's Lauren Sanchez's brother who's released these dick pics and sexting.
Wonder how he got them. You think she should check this out?
I know that's
she
the other
sends
thing.
them to all her friends. How'd he get it?
Yeah, who knows? But I guess when Fox News or whoever calls these people and says, "Hey, man." I remember years ago, I got into something that was TMZ, like Fox Newsy worthy. I don't even want to bring it up now because it seems so long ago, and the players involved, you wouldn't even know who they were anymore. It was back in the days of like Laguna Beach. Remember those MTV shows and that? So I was involved in something with people from that show, and I remember it was crazy how quickly every single one of those TMZs and Fox News and CNN were calling my phone. It was crazy. The next morning, I mean, how did people get my phone number?
Yeah.
I had 25 phone calls about did this really happen with you and blah, blah. It was crazy. Anyway, so that's what happens. And then I guess if you're like a shitty person, you'll be like, I'll see what I could do about getting these pictures of my sister's tits and send them to you. Like that's what this guy did, I guess. Who knows? But anyway, it's a crazy story. It is interesting. It's funny.
Like, you want to make $20? About time I made some money off this Bezos relationship.
Right. I know this poor guy's like, fuck, he's not going to get anything out of it.
Just call Jeff and be like, hey man, they're offering me 50. Can you make it 60? And he will.
That's exactly right. So that's where we're at on the Bezos story. It is fascinating. It's fascinating just on the sheer level that it's a dick pic story, and one of the people involved in its name is Pecker. For that reason alone, we needed to talk about it.
Were you a fan of the Anthony Weiner story too?
How could I not be? It was unbelievable. It is another time where the New York Post was just like, oh my God, how lucky can we get? The guy's name is Weiner, and he showed his wiener, and he continued to show his wiener like right up until.
He's gonna do it next week probably.
I believe he's in jail now, but
so he's definitely showing us wiener now.
Oh yeah. All right, let's see. Alex is getting excited again, and I know you people tell me not to stop him, but that now you get those jokes. You get prison dick jokes. That's what you get.
Which sounds way worse when you're like the tabloid.
If you let the leash too far, all of a sudden you get a prison dick joke. He thinks this is one of the open mics that he does at a Mexican restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard. You know, where you could do your dick jokes, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, isn't that a funny prison dick joke?" Anyway, back to the stories. So can I just say this, the Masked Singer, about the Masked Singer? This is a show called The Masked Singer. Alex.
Oh, The Masked
Singer.
How do they sing through those masks?
I don't know if they are. I think they might have, I don't even know if it's the people. Here's the thing about The Masked Singer. It is the worst thing I've ever seen. But I understand it's just stupidness. And sure, I don't think they're even taking themselves too seriously. But I'm watching it the other day because I have to finally watch it because I'm hearing so much about it. I'm like, let me see what this is all about. And it's the guy from The Hangover. Ken Jeong is a judge, and Jenny McCarthy's a judge, and I forget who else. And then they have like a celebrity judge. Like in this case, it was Joel McHale. And then there's people in these like wacky, extravagant outfits, and they have to guess who they are. You know, so they're all guessing. And at one point, I think it's Jenny McCarthy. She goes, "Is it Hugh Jackman?" Okay, I was like, "All right, cut, stop." Jenny, let me tell you who it's not. It's not Hugh Jackman. Because Hugh Jackman is a fucking major movie star with a giant career. Hugh Jackman is a Broadway superstar.
He doesn't need the money.
No, yeah. Hugh Jackman has not taken the next month off and sneaking into a little theater in Los Angeles in a fucking rabbit suit so he could sing for Jenny McCarthy and Ken Jeong. It's not. You know who it is? It's fucking Tori Spelling or Margaret Cho or Terry Bradshaw. These are people who actually turned out to be. So I don't know if they're still going on, even if they've finally shown the last person. But when you're throwing out your guesses, Ken Jeong and Jenny McCarthy, let me tell you who it's not. It's not Hugh Jackman. It's not Tom Cruise. It's not fucking Tom Hanks.
It's probably The Rock.
It's not Julia Roberts or The Rock. Yes. It's going to be Corey Feldman or J.C. Chazé or fucking, some.
He's a good singer, though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like one of them might be J.C. It's one of those fucking people who needed $100,000 and was willing to sneak into the back of the theater with their faces covered so they would not expose who the Masked Singer is. So there's my tip for the judges stages of The Masked Singer.
So do they keep reoccurring until they guess them, or why do they sneak in for a month? Is that
yes? From what I heard, is if you were hired to be one of the Masked Singers, if you're Margaret Cho and they hired you to be a Masked Singer, she was one of the Masked Singers. You commit to like a month of like, I can't say anything to anybody, and they drive you up to the back of the theater, and you got to sneak in under like a sheet and put on your outfit and go out and sing, and then you got to go out, so you can never expose yourself to the public.
Do they do more than one celebrity per like episode? Is it like,
as far as I know, yes. I mean, I was kind of fast forwarding through it, but as far as I know, I think 3 people come out and sing, and then at the end they release the. I know we're a little behind on this. I know a lot of people have spoken about it, but I just wanted to say my piece on it, on The Masked Singer, because that's that story. And there was some other things I wanted to discuss. Oh yeah, getting back to what I was saying about people leaving the house on Amazon and how it's ruining the world. So this week while I was in New York, I was talking. I was there for a long time, and I had things to do, but otherwise I had a lot of free time. So I was meeting up with some friends and having dinners and lunches and even at people after in between shows while Heather McDonald is on. I have plenty of time to just sit and chat. So I was at the bar of Caroline's, and some people would come out and chat with me. And I had like 5 different people, young girls, some who I know, some who I don't know, who were telling me how difficult dating is in New York City these days. And then they were telling me specific stories on how horrific, like Bumble and Tinder and like that world we're all in these days. Where'd you meet your girlfriend?
We did meet on Tinder.
You did meet on Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And I've met many people on Bumble and Tinder as well. Friends of mine, and it was at the time. I'm going back a few years. I'm out of that world now, but it was fun. It was interesting. It was fun. I'm hearing now. I don't know if it's gotten worse or these people are worse, but this goes back to what I'm saying about you need to leave the house. You need to get out. Because here's what's happening. We're all Amazoning tied to the house. We're all just scrolling through pictures. And then, so the guy and the girl, but mostly the guy, he doesn't have to work anymore. No work. If you're a relatively good looking guy who puts up, a couple of good looking pictures of yourself on a Bumble or a Tinder, and the girl scrolls through and you connect however you do. Like in the case of Bumble, the girl has to connect to you first. In the case of Tinder, it's just fucking the Wild West.
Free for all.
Everybody just go nuts.
Yeah.
And then you say, meet me here. How did you do it? Now in the case of you guys are poor people, so you meet at a hometown buffet
bar, just at a bar.
Just a bar. Okay.
You get coffee. That's what all the bad guys are doing. That's all the complaints I hear. Oh, you just want to buy me coffee?
But like a daytime coffee date, like daytime.
Yeah, it's like let's meet in public and make sure you're not.
Now, as a guy who's now. I used to, I was never like a dater, like let's go on a date and meet and say hello and go to a movie and then da-da-da-da. Back when I was bartending for many years, and then I became like a celebrity kind of a little bit. So listen, getting laid for me was easy. I was in 2 worlds where just like it's fish in a barrel. Not sounding like an asshole, but it is. It's just like being a stand-up comedian, you could get laid. It's not hard as a stand-up comedian, especially if you're a halfway decent-looking stand-up comedian like myself whose clothes fit. Like that's all it takes. The fact that I know how to fucking wear a pair of pants where most assholes, trust me, if you're in the stand-up comedy world, it's unbelievable what you see. Not only kind of stand-up comedy, all of it. If I'll tell the guys out there, just go to a guy to tell you how to put on a shirt and get your shirt tailored a little bit for an extra $5, and the pussy will flow. Trust me.
A tailored shirt.
That's all. It's very simple. Anyway, New York City, they seem to have their shit going on, like as far as that goes. So what I was saying was, it's just this is all part of the fall of Western civilization. This is how we are becoming the dinosaurs.
They still dress nice though in like New York, because out here you see people go to dates and they're wearing like sweatpants.
I know,
but
I
think we talked about this.
Yeah, that's just that's the way the world works. Not girls. I mean, listen, in the Juicy Scoop world that I'm in, like when I do the live shows with Heather and people come to my live shows, these people, everyone's got their shit together. I mean, girls. I know people get mad when I say girls, women, ladies, whatever. Just look, they got their shit together. It's all fine. But I can't. So the guy, the guy doesn't have to work hard anymore. So of course he's going to just come to the bar that's where you met your girlfriend, and he just wants to get laid. Like I had a friend who's telling me, and then he came over to my house, and she cooked dinner for the guy or something, and came over to my house. I cooked dinner. She goes, yeah, I fucked him, and he left. I'm like, well, no shit. I mean, what do you think was going to happen? This guy, he's going to do the same thing tomorrow to another girl.
Oh, you mean the guy on Tinder wasn't?
Yeah, but I know people meet on these things, and it is a way to connect, and it is easy and fun. But anyway, so that's my story on all of it. I just think the Amazons and I feel bad. Like I'm talking like good looking. Women who friends of mine who not only that, attractiveness aside, they have everything going on for them. They have good jobs, they're decent people, they're smart, they got it all going, and they just can't find anything. And it's crazy to me. Like all of you who have found your man or woman, fucking hold on tight. You do not want to be back out in this world. I don't think. It looks terrible. And all for what? Like, ultimately, we've all seen the tits and the pussies and the dicks and the assholes. And they're all, like I said last week, they're all relatively the same. Like, everybody's doing the same, sexual rehearsed mambo. You suck this and fuck this and lick that and spit in that and these choke this and... So we all did.
As a society, we've elevated.
That's what I'm saying. It's all going to be variations of the same shit, Like, is this guy going to do anything more amazing than that guy, or this girl going to do anything more amazing than that? No. Forget all that. Because in the end, we're all just sticking our dicks and tits in the same places with everybody. So you got to get to the point where you can hang out with a guy at Target. That's the reality of the situation. Like, because that's the most of your life is going to be at Target or putting together a fucking dresser at IKEA. That's most of your life. So you find the man or woman who isn't going to drive you fucking nuts putting a little dowel into a dresser from IKEA, then you're good. As far as spitting on each other's faces and whatever people do, by today's standards, I feel like the ante has been upped. I don't know if it's the access to porn that has made now everybody want to choke each other.
Well, I think there's education now, something to watch.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
because there's a lot of spitting and choking and just gagging.
I think we're more open too. We talk about it, and you'd be surprised what people are willing to do for you if you just say like, "Hey, I know it seems weird, but this." They'd be like, "Yeah, I got you."
Okay, so whatever.
I think we're open.
It's all good. Hey, I'm all for. I'm all about it. But eventually, all that goes away. There's only so much spitting you can do before you're like, "All right, we've been in this for 2 years now. Stop spitting. Everybody, stop spitting. Not enough with the spit." So anyway, that was my takeaway from my time in New York. I thought it was very interesting how a lot of people were telling me about how difficult dating is in New York, and everywhere, every city, I guess, not just New York, everywhere. So hold on tight to as Valentine's Day. By the time this airs, I think it will air on Valentine's Day. Celebrate the one you are with. Enjoy your lives. Have a good time with them. Because trust me, there's going to be ups and downs, right? We're all going to have, this guy fucking bugs me, or this girl's not driving me nuts. But if you have, let's say you want 10 things. Put down on a piece of paper. These are the 10 things I want in life out of my partner, or I was going to say lover, and there's no worse way to call. You ever have somebody
lover?
You ever have somebody introduce their significant other as their lover? Oh, it's worse than partner. Partner's pretty bad too. But lovers, like what? What now? Now you've almost involved me as just a guy at the party. Now I'm involved in some weird.
Now I'm gonna watch you guys spit.
Cult. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't need to know your because immediately once I say lover, you're like, oh well, now I just immediately
I'm intruding.
I'm thinking of you fucking each other. I don't want to know it. I don't want to know anything about it. Anyway, so that's it. Celebrate. Go out and have fun on Valentine's Day. I know this will be on Valentine's Day. Thursday, right? Thursday, Valentine's Day? Yeah. So this will be released on Valentine's Day. So I hope all of you go out. Don't go. Here's what you don't do. I will be, by the way, in Phoenix, Arizona at the House of Comedy on Valentine's Day. And I hope all of you who live in the Phoenix area will come to my shows because I am there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So what you'll do is some of you will come on Thursday and you put on your nice outfits and your Van Heusen button-up shirts that you get at Macy's because your wife told you to go get a new shirt. And you get that real sad Van Heusen bright blue button-up shirt that fits horrible, and then you get a tie that monochromatically fits with it, like Regis Philbin used to wear on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's also blue, and you look like a kid who's going to like his concert. Remember they used to do like in elementary school, you used to do like a Christmas concert.
Oh yeah,
and the kid had to dress up, so you'd go get him a shirt at Macy's, a Van Heusen shirt, and a matching tie, and so don't look like that. And then you go out to a restaurant. You'll do this on Valentine's Day. As a guy who worked in restaurants for 12 years, here's what you do. Don't go on February 14th. Do not go on February 13th or go on February 15th. Don't you dare make your wife or husband suffer, or girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever you are with suffer through that, because you're going to have to wait fucking an hour and a half to go anywhere. It's amateur night. It's awful. Except for the comedy club. Come to the comedy club. I'm telling you, it's a great place to have a good time. You're going to laugh. So in the case of House of Comedy in Arizona, where I'm performing, it's got very good food. Sit down, fucking relax, enjoy. I'll handle it. You'll have a good time. Everyone's laughing. Pussy juices are flowing. I'm sorry. That was way too far. That was the real Chris Franjola. I talk in real life to my real friends. We say things like that, but I can't.
Yes.
I can't expose the real Chris
Behind
Franjola.
the curtain.
Yes, I can't expose the real Chris Franjola to America or all over the world, Australia and Canada and whoever else listens to this. So that's it. Have fun. Go out and have fun. Come to Comedy Club. Or come on Friday and Saturday, also a House of Comedy in Phoenix. I will be there. So if the love continues after Thursday, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I'll be there as well. Then I head to Canada. People of Canada, please come to go see me at Comic Strip in the West Edmonton Mall. I'm there the week after, West Edmonton Mall Comic Strip. I would love to see you there at that one. And then after that, on and on and on and on and tons more. Down in San Diego, I'm doing some stuff and like a one night thing at a bar show that I love down there.
Which show?
You know the one Red? Yeah. That place is great, man. I love that dude who runs it, and I have so much fun every time I do that show. I'm doing that in a couple of weeks. Reds? It's called Reds?
So, Reds
comedy show. They actually built a new room for it. It's really cool. Down in Pacific Beach, California, which is cool. Anyway, that's it. Go out. I think we covered. Let me tell you what happened today. I'll be honest with you. As I often am here. What happened today was I normally get the New York Post at the 7-Eleven. It's only one that sells it on my way to come here. And today they were out. They didn't have any New York Posts. And I asked the guy behind the counter, who, is an Indian guy who barely speaks English. He had no idea what I was talking about. I said, "You have New York Post?" He goes, "New York. I love New York." I was like, no. He thought I was like, as if I would say to him, "How do you like New York?
You want to go to New York?"
Yeah. So he was not getting it at all. But they were out of the New York Post. So I kind of just winged it. I wanted to talk about the Bezos story, and it was a little bit of winging it on the Bezos story and the Grammys and whatever else. We wunged it and we did it. Thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day, all of you. Thank you for listening to the Cover to Cover podcast. Keep spreading the word. Great to see you all at the live shows. Please come up, take pictures, hugs, and call me ugly right to my face, as you seem to want to do. And I don't care. As long as you come to the show, you can say whatever the fuck you want. And it's free. I don't give a shit. I'll hang out with all of you for absolutely nothing. Thank you. Goodbye. Love you all. Thank you, Alex.